What's up, everybody? Guy here at Sewing with Fire Welding, and I'm super stoked today because I just got a package from a company called Canaweld. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Canaweld, they're a designer and manufacturer of welding machines and plasma cutters here in Canada. For those of you who don't know me, I am a welder and an educator, and a lot of my work, a lot of my side jobs are done at home. So a welder with a decent amount of punch is definitely needed. So I want to thank Canaweld for sending me this welder. I'm going to be dropping a few videos and giving my honest review on this welder. So I just seen the forklift offloading this thing and bringing it up my driveway. So the fact that it came off a lift tells me that this thing has some substance. All right, so we're going to unbox and review this 301Sl Multiprocess Canadian-made machine. We're going to review its features and we're going to do a whole bunch of welding with it. Now, I want to let everybody know that I'm not paid for this. However, Canaweld has provided me with this welder. Let's get unboxing. First thing on top is our consumables and accessories. We are looking at the silver package, and this package supplies you with everything you see here. This means everything you'll need to stick weld and wire feed weld. We have our MIG or GMAW gun, and this comes with a variety of different size contact tips and diffusers, and it also comes with an extra nozzle. Here we can see the drive rolls for a variety of different wire sizes, and we have a heavy duty regulator and gas hose. Lastly, we have our work or ground clamp and a stinger for stick welding. All right, let's unveil this bad boy. I'm immediately noticing the LED and programmable synergic display. It's got very few buttons, which is pretty nice for simplicity. And after reading through the manual, now we're going to go over these specs in more detail, but just off the top, this multi-process machine is equipped with a single-phase 220-volt power supply. And at 60% duty cycle, it'll give you 240 amps on stick, but this machine will give you 300 amps on the TIG side. This is Canaweld's 301Sl Multiprocess machine. It's an inverter type power source, so it's much lighter in weight. It can also do your constant current, which is your stick and your TIG, and it can do your constant voltage, which is your wire feed. Now, generally speaking, inverters will give you more bang for your buck when it comes to electricity, meaning a lot less power coming in for the amount of power going out when you compare it to your traditional transformer power sources. This inverter offers you manual or programmable synergic settings. Synergic just means that you can plug in your material thickness, your type, the type of wire, shielding gas, and it'll give you a wire feed and a suggested voltage setting. Let's have a look at the synergic MIG option. Under MIG, MAG, or GMAW, we have a variety of different options. If we click on functions, starting at the top, we have our 2T, 4T option. Your 2T just has a standard on and off wire feed. When you push the trigger, the wire feeds, and when you let go, it stops. The 4T option is different. When you push the trigger and let go, the wire will continue to run until you push the trigger a second time. This allows you to weld longer joints without having to hold the trigger for long periods of time. Below this, it gives you the option to choose the material type, wire diameter, shielding gas, your pre, post flow, burn back, and soft start. Having all these features on an inverter style welder will help with arc stability, spatter, and ultimately a nicer weld. Lastly, it'll give you the polarity choice for different applications. For example, if you're running flux core self-shielding wire, you might want to run on DC negative, where hardwire MIG runs on DC positive. When using the synergic option, you enter the amperage you wish to use for that material and weld type. From here, the machine automatically calculates your wire feed speed and voltage according to your choices. Now, not all settings will be perfect, so this machine gives you the option to adjust your voltage plus or minus in small increments until you get it dialed in. The last function on the front is your inductance. This controls the rate of rise and fall of that short circuit transfer. I always recommend play around with it. It has a value of 10, 10 being the max, 0 being the least. This machine is equipped with a 4 drive roll system. When comparing to 2 drive rolls, the 4 rolls will usually give you a smoother, more consistent feed. These Swedish-made drive rolls give you the option to run a 2 drive roll system for MIG aluminum welding. Now, a couple nice features I'm noticing about this Canaweld power source is the heavy-duty but still flexible MIG whip and work clamp. We also have a nice little cabinet for storing our accessories and a low shelf for installing shielding gas bottles. We all know how difficult it can be to lift a full-size bottle onto that back of the welder. This made it significantly easier to take that bottle on and off. This welder is also equipped with a quick connect on the gas lines and a decent sized colored LCD display. Lastly, which I am impressed with, is the 4-year warranty. Now that we've got the boring stuff out of the way, let's see what kind of power this thing has. So at this point here, I've had this machine for about a week, and I'll be honest, I'm starting to really enjoy it. I've got all my PPE I need to do some MIG welding, and that's where we're gonna start here today. Because this machine is advertised that it can be used as a dedicated MIG power source with the added benefit of the stick and TIG, we're gonna start there. We're gonna start on the lower end. We're gonna do an open route, and that's gonna sort of test the low amperage range, the low voltage range, and then we're gonna bump it up to do the fill and cap, and that's gonna sort of test the higher end of it. Here I have a more advanced weld joint. It's an open groove on some 3/8 of an inch or 10 millimeter thick carbon steel. After getting my settings dialed in, you can see that my route went in quite nicely. I had a consistent feed on that wire without any hiccup, and this is definitely something you want when you're doing an open route. My technique was to wash up a little higher on the bevels when I found that my route was getting too hot, and tightening up and focusing more in the middle when it got colder. Now we're filling this joint. This is the technique where I weave from side to side, washing up on those sidewalls, all at the same time staying at the leading edge of the puddle. You don't want to weld on the back end of this puddle. This can cause a whole bunch of trouble for you, including lack of fusion. Once complete, we examine. We want this fill pass to come up just below the top, leaving no more than 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters from that top. A little bit of spatter is normal. However, if you're peppering your plate with droplets, you might want to look at your settings or your technique. Lastly, we're capping. Let's weave this again and have it cover no more than 1/8 or 3 mil high than the surface of that plate. We'll also want to make sure we cover the groove in full, biting those edges of the plate and not leaving any undercut or underfill. Now I'm really excited to see what else this machine has in store for us. So for that reason, I'm going to release a second video. We're going to do some stick welding, some TIG welding, and we're going to do a little bit more MIG welding on that. So please subscribe to the channel. I really hope you enjoyed this. More importantly, I hope you learned something out of this. So we'll catch you on the next one. And as always, keep those lenses clean.